As women, we give our power away without even realising it. We do it because subconsciously we don't like being labelled as powerful, and that's because of unconscious bias. Hi, this is me. If we're meeting for the first time, I'm Churchill, and I'm on a mission to help women grow from self-doubt to self-confidence so they can take their career to the next level. This is my mission because in my career in real estate, I've had a great time, but in my early 40s, I realised I was losing my self-confidence. I suddenly noticed all these bright young graduates coming in, and there were fewer and fewer women at my level. And I started to doubt if I could promote any further. I needed to do something about that for me because I was very stuck. And through years of research, experimentation, and working with hundreds of women, I realised I wasn't on my own. It wasn't just me, but it was lots of women. And it wasn't just real estate, it was lots of industries. So before we get into it, I need to just say, I always generalise. I'm not anti-men, I'm pro-women. And these things that I talk about can affect men just as much as they affect women. Modern research shows that men are just as likely to suffer from imposter syndrome as a woman is. So we generalise, but women are generally less powerful being labelled or perceived as powerful, especially in the workplace. The workplace in almost all industries was not designed to have women in it at all, and certainly not in managerial positions or positions of power. So there's a natural discord, which is why we still have the need for gender balance groups today, even though the law and legislation largely calls for gender equality, especially in the UK. Deep ingrained societal norms mean it isn't so. And if you think I'm wrong about that, here comes the proof. So first of all, here are the statistics for the UK. The gender pay gap in the UK still is 7.7%, but the good news is it's falling year on year, so things are getting better. There is still an over and under 40 divide though, which is interesting when I say to you my confidence started to dip in my early 40s. This is where the discord starts to happen. So the pay gap gets bigger, the older women get, and also the higher up in rank we go. So that addresses the next point, higher earners, there's a bigger gap. There are less women at the top than there are men, which creates that bigger gap. The biggest gap is in England, that's compared to Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. And then the global gender index rank for the UK is 15. That means there are 14 countries in the world which are more gender balanced than the UK is. And here are the stats for the US. The gender pay gap is 18% in the US, so a lot worse than the UK. And that has been static for 20 years with very little movement. It's narrowing for younger workers, which is another way of saying there's an over 40, under 40 divide, the same as in the UK. So when you're younger, you're more likely to have pay parity to guys if you're a woman. And if over 40 and the higher up you get, again, the gap gets bigger. So women are overrepresented in lower paid roles. In other words, underrepresented in higher paid roles. And the global gender index rank for the US is a staggering 43. There are several things that bring it down, but things like no right to maternity pay is very significant. And it's no wonder we don't like being labelled as powerful. When you look up the word powerful in the dictionary, these are some of the synonyms that you get. Dominant, forceful, authoritarian, commanding, controlling, wicked, upper hand, and potent. And whilst you might think of potent being a powerful substance, it's actually the opposite of impotent as well. So I'll leave that with you. It's not very feminine, is it? Male power is hierarchical. So think army, police, any religion or church or business. It's all about who has the highest rank. It's competitive. It's ambitious to the point of aggression. And it's all about who ranks who, so who has the loudest voice. Dog eat dog springs to mind. Generally, female power manifests as much more purpose-driven. Preferred ways of working are going to be through collaboration, teamwork, sharing power, and group work rather than in isolation. Women generally prefer to help others along and coach people, recognize their input and achievement. In other words, empower them. Now, I know what you're thinking. My female boss doesn't do that. They are in the same storm that you're in, my friend. When women don't feel comfortable earning power, they either fail to recognize that they have any, so they don't execute it well, or they go overboard on their perception of power because self-doubt makes them believe they don't really have any. So if you think about sarcastic women, raised voices, kind of aggressive behaviors, it's that kind of thing. The power I'm talking about is being authentically me and knowing that I have quiet influence over the things around me and the things that are happening to me. It doesn't need to be shied away from, and it doesn't need to be overinflated. It just needs to be nice, quiet, calm, inner power. And that quiet, authentic power starts with us. I love this quote from Mahatma Gandhi. We need to be the change we wish to see in the world. So we need to change our behaviours, own our power, and quietly demonstrate to others around us how that works. And once you nail that, by the way, it's like owning a little secret. People will look at you and notice that something's changed, but they won't be able to put their finger on it. And that's like you carrying around your own little secret. So this is where my research has led me to in terms of the way successful women behave. And believe me, most of them are faking it till they make it, but doing that part is really part of the process. These are behaviours we can all model. It's about creating good habits, and consistency is the key. So number one, they believe in internal validation. In other words, they approve of themselves, of their opinions, their actions and behaviours. They don't need someone to back up their view, which isn't cocky. It's self-assurance rather than self-doubt. You can do that too. Just back yourself. Number two, they know they have influence over their own outcomes. It's not circumstance or good luck or bad luck. We can influence things with our behaviours and our decisions. So the next time somebody pats you on the back for doing something well, don't say, I was in the right place at the right time, or it was because of my team or anything else. Take the compliment, own it, and recognise that what you did played a part in that success. Number three, they say yes to opportunities. Even if they have no idea how they're going to make it happen, they know the answers are out there and they don't have to have all of the knowledge and the info in order to take the first step. So the next time an opportunity creates in your world, say yes. And that links very much to number four. They test themselves. In other words, they know that they're okay with things not going exactly to plan. So if they take that opportunity and it doesn't all go perfectly first time, that's okay. It's okay to make a mistake, fail even. That's how we learn and it's how we grow. We don't have to be perfect every time, and successful women know that to try would be unrealistic. So next time you have a little stumbling block, try to relabel it. You haven't failed, you've just learned. Of course, giving our power away all comes down to imposter syndrome in some way or another. That self-doubt and imposter syndrome isn't a personality flaw. It's a perfectly natural way for our minds to try and keep us safely within our comfort zone when nothing can go wrong. According to Dr. Valerie Young, there are 5 different types of imposter syndrome: the perfectionist, the soloist, the natural genius, the expert, and the superhuman. If you're curious to know what sort your type is, take the quiz here. It's www.ginchurchill.com/quiz, or you can hover over the QR code and that will take you there as well. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video today. I really hope you got something out of it. If you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up and a comment down below. It helps me to deliver what you're looking for, and it helps other people to find my stuff as well. So it's always appreciated. And in the meantime, you have a fantastic week.